All right, all right. Not gonna say another one because don't want to get banned. Copyright infringement.
That's only if you
Yes.
played the sound file, not necessarily if you not necessarily saying it.
If I say it with the accent, would we get banned?
Yeah, well, I mean, one possibly can argue it. I mean,
all right. Okay, I didn't do the third one. We're safe, people. We're safe.
Although I'm sure it's like if the algorithm will pick up an impression, then I think we're all in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, we're in trouble. Or not. We'll see.
Yep. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Here we are.
Friendly souls.
Scuba and The Ry, episode 126.
That's what it says on my sheet.
Alrighty, here's our weekly dose of chit-chat, conversation, movies, entertainment, whatever else going on in life.
Your life, liberty, and the pursuit of randomness.
Random is definitely good. Freeform, chat.
Yep, and we
got
got
music going, so got a shout out and a thank you to Syrinscape.
Shout out.
Check out Syrinscape.com for all your tabletop music and sound effect needs. Go to Syrinscape.com. They've been doing some work on their web player and their online player. So we got a sound set we've been using for the podcast, so you hear that in the background as we go on.
Hey, chilling in the tavern.
Go check them out. Syrinscape.com for more information.
Check it out.
So, also, if you're checking us out on YouTube, or just go ahead and get that out of the way, it's like you want to make sure to do the thing if you are enjoying what you're hearing.
Yes, sir.
Maybe seeing.
Where else can we hear?
Well, we can hear on just about every other podcast place.
Oh, really?
Podcast.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to Spotify. Where are you subscribed at, people?
Yeah, if you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio.
Yeah, that one.
All those places.
That one is a good one because there's a lot of people that got iHeart.
Give us a like, give us a review.
Like, subscribe somewhere around me. Yeah. It's up there, people.
Yeah,
Click the button, please. Help us out.
Check us out. Go to the website. Check all that fun stuff out. Over on scubasstudio.com, we have all of our episode links and fun stuff there. So feel free to check it out. Check us out on social media. You got the little Rolodex thing over there.
Yeah, somewhere there, right there.
That's showing all the different places. Oh yeah, we hit the 100 subscribers on YouTube, so now we have that custom URL.
We have our own, people, our own.
I will take my milestones when I can get them. I know you're out there sitting there going, "Ooh, 100 subscribers, big deal."
Hey, that's a big deal
for us.
Yes,
we're part-timers. We're doing this for fun.
Yep.
Enjoying
our fun.
For subscribing, appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like, leave a comment, share it with your friends.
Check us out. Fun. Yeah.
Alrighty. So enough trying to, do the sales pitch, elevator pitch. Let's get into it.
Let's do some other pitches. Pitches of.
Yeah, we got some stuff we're chatting about today.
Yeah, a
few reviews.
Yeah, a few reviews, a few of Scuba and The Ry presents stuff. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, let's talk about, you know what? I think we're going to change it up. Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So let's talk about our news and stuff. You got 3 different articles here in the show notes.
Yep.
Will be up there.
Yep.
About celebrating 60 years of the webhead.
Yep. We are celebrating 60 years. He got 60 years this month. I forget the exact date. It's in one of the articles. But there are a lot of different products and stuff being released out there to represent Spider-Man. They talk about the evolution of Spider-Man with Legos and whatnot, but Marvel is celebrating by releasing certain figurines and whatnot. But more than that, just the idea of 60 years of Spider-Man.
60 years of a character that Stan Lee suggested and was initially rejected by his publisher. And so he snuck a Spider-Man story in a different, because if I remember the lore right, he pitched this as a character for his own book.
Okay.
Publisher said it's a stupid idea. So then they came around the Amazing Stories, and Stan Lee they were short on stories for that, so Stan Lee threw Spider-Man in there, and lo and behold, it was a hit.
Oh
And
yeah.
people loved it. So you can find videos of him telling the story, but the moral of that one is if you're passionate about something, do it. And if someone tells you it's stupid, don't listen to him, because next thing we never would have had Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. So, because of that, Marvel is releasing some interesting stuff you can purchase out in the pop culture sphere. There's going to be a 60th anniversary collection, Marvel Keith, some stuff with book covers, a game, a figurine, and whatnot. So if you go out there and looking at for a 60th anniversary, you can just do a Google search. You'll find something. But the one thing I like is the statue that they're releasing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Spider-Man statues I've seen. This one looks like it's the older comic style of the red and blue suit
Yep,
off a gargoyle.
that's just as awesome.
And so, I mean, it looks really cool. And it looks like it was August 10th.
Yep. So 60 years of Spider-Man. Just that's a milestone. I
It
know.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, and the character who is like the epitome of that line that we all know that we're not going to say here. But it is great to see this. And this year's been a lot of that. Like we had the 85th year of Batman.
Yep.
We had this. We got the Turtles Cowabunga collection, which is celebrating turtles hitting a milestone. I mean, it's phenomenal.
A lot of big representation of old stuff and
Also
nostalgia.
makes me feel really damn old.
Yeah, it is. Like when you think about it, some things. Can you imagine that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is about to be 20 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to add more credence to that, we are old people.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
But it's curious because we got a D23 coming up, which is Disney's another celebration event, and
Yep.
I'm sure they're gonna have some great news there.
Yep.
I think. Oh yeah, that's right. They're re-releasing Spider-Man: No Way Home in theaters for a limited time.
Yep, with an extra 15 minutes, I believe.
Extra 15 minutes, and the new movie poster has everybody in it.
Yep. So if you haven't seen it and you think that's spoiler, then what can you do?
I'd say go check it out.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's fun.
3 great actors who've taken on the role of Spider-Man.
Yep.
Plenty of voice actors who've done it. Plenty of video games. What's one of your favorite Spider-Man stories, regardless of media? Could be comics, could be film, could be video game.
Could
be references.
My
and
favorite
novels.
Spider-Man story is actually it's not even the Miles Morales story from the video game, because of it being such a personal story, and then seeing the twists on who and what Miles Morales has to confront, it kind of gets near and dear to your heart. So yeah, that one right there, the Miles Morales game, that story is very entrenched. So
I'd say one of my favorites was the Maximum Carnage story.
yes.
Because that was actually one of the first comic book sets that collected, so it's got some sentimental value in that respect.
Yeah.
And then I've got a few of the novels of Spider-Man stories, which I think are really great.
That's good.
And then as far as video games, Sony's Spider-Man that came out a couple years ago that they've remastered. That one is a great, unique story.
Yes, it is.
But one of my earlier favorites is Shattered Dimension.
Oh yeah,
that one is very. The story surrounding that is very cool, in my opinion. When you're playing the 4 different Spider-Men across different times and universes.
Yeah, I heard that was a very fun game. Was that the cell shaded one?
Maybe it was one of the first time I saw Spider-Man Noir.
Okay.
We had Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
We had OG Spider-Man, and then we had another one. I can't remember which one that one was, but the idea was Mysterio is Madam Web was talking to Spider-Man about something, and Mysterio steals some magic tablet and shatters it. And Madam Web sends Spider-Man on this journey in different iterations to find these pieces that have been scattered across the multiverse.
Okay.
So it's a very interesting story when you put it all together.
Does sound like fun. It
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like a
definitely
traveling
horror
quest.
game, like Xbox 360 era days.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the Spider-Man comics have been great, and there's so much. Like he's got quite a robust rogues gallery to
Yep.
pick from.
Yeah, and it's like one of the like when you think about rogues galleries, it's one of the ones that can rival like Batman's rogues galleries. If not,
Pretty bloody close.
yeah, and not some people think it is the best rogues gallery. So it's good competition there.
Yeah, because some of them are heroes, anti-heroes,
Yeah.
villains. Majority are villains, but
Yeah.
a few of them are like anti-heroes.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man villain?
I'd have to say it's Venom and Carnage.
Venom and Carnage.
The symbiote, the OG early iterations.
Early iterations.
Some of the newer stories are cool, but I'm more like the old school
From the 80s,
90s.
90s, early 90s.
Yeah, early
Okay.
90s. Some of the artwork done by Todd McFarlane before he left Marvel and started Image and Spawn. That artwork for some of the initial things for Venom.
Okay.
One of the other stories was like the Clone Saga, where it was like really convoluted mid 90s story of like different Peter Parker clones, and that's where it gave us the Scarlet Spider and and Ben Reilly and stuff. It's like things got a little goofy,
Yeah.
but some of the creativity around it was really good. Like one of my favorite iterations is Spider Carnage in the comics, because it was Ben Reilly has taken the mantle of Spider-Man, and at some point he bonded with the Carnage symbiote because the Carnage symbiote had left Cassidy, and Cassidy was dying because of it. And so it was just the symbiote wanted out, and Ben felt that he could handle the symbiote, and again that mythos of Spider-Man. So he bonded with it and had to fight with that urge that the symbiote had, because it bonded with Cassidy as his first host, and Cassidy was definitely not right in the head.
Yeah. Cassie is a pretty much of a psychopath. So.
But it is. I still have the book. It's definitely one of the more unique stories that I've read. I know, and of course, we're talking 60 years of stories. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stories.
A lot going on, and we'll see what the future brings.
We'll see, but I see more stories coming, especially with new mediums, new ways to tell them. So.
Oh yeah, we already know the next Spider-Man game is on its way. We're just waiting in anticipation, because I'm curious to see how they'll do Venom, and it looks like they've got Craven the Hunter and some other people expanding the gallery.
Oh yeah.
So actually, I think that's one of the things I like most about the Amazing Spider-Man game is the fact that we got more characters to work with. And different backstories on some of those characters.
Oh yeah, and I really enjoyed the combat in the Spider-Man games are good. And we'll see how it works, because this time it's going to be comboed with Miles Morales. Maybe there'll be a co-op mode.
We'll see. The combat was probably one of the most solid things, and you know what? There's a reason why it mimics the Arkham games.
Oh yeah,
because that was the first, like, we are nailing how Batman should interact with criminals.
Yeah. And I remember the first day when I got that Spider-Man game, the one that came out on PS4, I spent 45 minutes just swinging around the city in that game.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Yep.
Especially when you go to the different locales and get them to pop off as different quips about the locations.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
Oh,
alrighty. Yeah. Well, hey, that was good. We talked Spider-Man, hit several articles on that.
Oh yeah.
What's the next one we got here? The WB Purge.
Yeah, this is a one that we talk about streaming stuff off and on, and a lot of stuff we talk about when it comes to streaming is Netflix. But in recent months, because of the WB Discovery merger, there has been a set of purges that have been happening especially happening on HBO Max, with some of their originals and
Yeah, there's a
whatnot.
lot of things they've been quietly removing,
Yep.
and there's a byline here in this about it looks like they removed a number of Sesame Street classic episodes.
Yep. So, which when you signed up with HBO Max, that it was supposed to be the home of Sesame Street, so to have a catalog. So they decided to remove over 200 classic episodes, not in syndication, not syndication, but just random 200 episodes. So they've left mostly of the new episodes, and then also HBO Max has removed the like 36 titles off of their platform, the HBO Max platform, including 20 originals. And what they're saying is basically they're removing it because nobody's watching them and they have to pay out the residuals. So it's a cost-cutting measure. But it's more so, yes, with the merger, there's going to be a lot of like overhead that needs to be pulled out. But at the same time, within the streaming world, this also brings up a big eye with all the other platforms out there.
Yeah.
And what one of the taglines that pulled from these is saving money because of business. We know how business works, or preservation, because you are billing yourself. Let's say Disney Plus, it's billing yourself as a end all be all for certain catalogs of stuff, and you go there, and then they go and decide to pull that catalog. So say like Pixar, and then all of a sudden they decide to pull off Pixar off of it
Yeah, but
because
Disney's
of money.
been doing that for years with the Vault.
Yeah, but
I mean, we still don't have the full Vault
Yeah.
on Disney. So
yeah, it's not the
like
full
they-
vault, but when you're promising certain things, like they said on HBO Max, and then you're pulling it off, it's kind of a cross 22 of things. But there is a plus to it because it's a cost-cutting measure. And what it is that a lot of people have been complaining is like you've been just what they call the axe of Zaslav. That's what's the term you've been hearing out there, because you've been just cutting. Now you're starting to see the reason why he's cutting certain things.
I mean, that's fair. If you have to pay royalties and residuals to have a particular piece of content up, and if nobody's watching it,
Yeah.
I mean, to boil this over, let's take a look at what's going on with Sandman. Sandman on Netflix, which great series. They dropped their bonus episode, so I was right. It was 11 episodes, not 10.
Yeah, you got me right here.
But even though the show is good,
It's doing good. It's been the #1 show on Netflix across the world for weeks now.
but it looks like it's not quite enough, and Netflix may not
Yep.
pick up for a season 2 because of the production costs.
Which Neil Gaiman came out, and he said that on his Twitter feed, where he said, it might not be picked up because it's an expensive show to do. And if you watch the show, you can tell it's an expensive looking show to do. So
but I mean, but as we look at that, we look at inflation, we look at costs and everything else. You know what? That's sometimes what it is.
Yeah.
It upsets people.
yeah.
Yes, because hey, they love the show, but obviously, and we know it right now. Netflix is hemorrhaging money like it's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm fingers crossed. Sandman gets picked up for a season 2.
Yeah.
But this kind of ties in with what we were saying, like with WB cutting this stuff. It's like no one's watching it.
Yeah.
They have to pay these royalties, and some of this stuff is old stuff. Like it had a blip of interest that lasted a few weeks and then kind of got lost in the noise.
Yeah. But a lot of these titles, like the ones they removed, I've never heard of. So that could just be me. But at the same time, it's also leads into the other bullet, where this is the new norm of guiding content. Because since everything's been shifting to streaming, each company has been trying to figure out their footing in it and how to balance between content keeping people and cost-cutting measures.
Yeah, but here's the nice thing about this too.
Yeah.
We take a bunch of content off the streaming server.
Yeah.
We wait 6 months to a year. We put it back up. All of a sudden we can generate buzz to check it out. And then when it drops off in popularity, you pull it back. It's essentially the same thing that Disney has done with their vault for years, decades. Yeah. We're up to what? 90 different animated films Disney has done.
Yeah.
Yet they only have a few that are available to purchase every few years.
Yeah.
They'll re-release from the vault, and then it's out for a little bit, and then it goes back.
Yeah.
So we have year. I mean, you can go on to Paramount and Peacock and HBO Max, and you take a look. You get black and white films you can watch.
Yeah.
Like the movies that inspired Star Wars, you can find right now on streaming.
Yeah.
All the way through to, hey, Maverick just released on digital yesterday.
Yeah.
As of the time we're recording this video, and you can sit there and watch that. So I mean, huge library of stuff. Not everything's available. A majority of it is.
Yep.
But now it's like, rotating the stock. I don't see, if that's what they do, that's great. Like,
but
this past weekend, I watched Hunt for Red October. One of my all-time favorite films.
That is a very good movie.
Was recently released on Netflix.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, there's pros and cons to it. But with what they're doing over at Warner Brothers Discovery, a lot of stuff they're cutting and not allowing it to be seen at all. So with that rotation with Disney, there is a plus with that, no pun intended. But yeah, but it's what they're doing with the material. They're not allowing anybody to get access to it even through other means. So
yeah,
that's what people are upset about. Not about the rotation, because that's what is part of the streaming world. But like I said, when you're merging the two companies, Disney and Fox went through the same thing, and a lot of people have short-term memory and forgot they did the same thing, and now everything is good and gravy. So now that this is happening, people are just scared that their favorite thing is going to get cut. Who knows? But now you're starting to see the other side of why they're cutting certain content and what they're going to be focusing on. Like, did you see the article where Warner Brothers signed that major deal with Matt Reeves for first rights in content writing, and they're working on the Batman too?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so in that article, it shows a little bit of light of what they're planning. So they're focused on people and creatives that are actually doing good things that could bring in the money and bring in that content to make it first class.
Cool. So. Speaking of things that are on the way out the door, you got a little link here.
Love the lead-in. Love the lead-in.
I mean, so
this was a late edition, but I think it's a big thing to talk about since we do talk about movies a lot.
Regal, what's the company name? It's like
Cineworld.
Regal Cinemas filed bankruptcy.
Yeah, Cineworld is the international, and Regal Cinemas is one of their subsidiaries. They have a lot of other ones around the world, but which is big because this is the second largest theater chain in the world.
Yeah.
Filed for bankruptcy.
Now, I mean, what else do we know about this?
Yeah,
is this like they're going to shut down, close up shop?
No, why they're filing is because everybody knows theaters got hit hard because of the pandemic. So, you can't, if you're not bringing in people, you're not making money, because that's the whole point of going to the theater.
Yeah.
But even with all the big blockbusters and all the big money that the theaters have been making this year, like Top Gun and Doctor Strange and Thor and a lot of the indie titles that have been bringing in money for them, they still haven't been able to catch up with their debt. So they're filing for bankruptcy so they can reorganize the debt, which amassed at $4.8 billion across both the UK and the US and other little outlets in Europe.
4.8 billion in debt.
So they
probably filed for bankruptcy to see if I can restructure that too.
Yeah, so they just to give a little backstory on the company, they operate, quote, this is from IGN, 9,000 screens in 751 locations around the world, including Picture House, Cineworld Cinemas in the UK and Ireland, Cinema City in Europe, Yes Planet in Israel, and then what we know as Regal Cinemas in the US. So
well, I wouldn't be surprised if they shut down some of their low-performing theaters and start pulling back their chain.
Yeah. So my guess is that they'll probably do that cost-cutting measures on certain theaters. But bankruptcy doesn't mean, when people hear bankruptcy, it doesn't always mean that they're gone forever. It just means a reorganization of the funds and figuring out how you're going to take care of that huge debt. I'm going to say huge. And AMC, you're thinking about, what about AMC, the largest theater chain? Why aren't they? Well, if y'all don't remember or forgot, there was that meme stock that drove their stock up, which saved AMC's butt. So that's
'cause
why
they were looking to be bought out by Amazon.
yes. And then in early 2021, the meme stock happened, and
I thought GameStop was first, and then it was
AMC.
AMC.
Yeah, so it saved AMC. That's why you don't hear anything about AMC in the news over the last 2 years.
No, I think they learned their lesson.
But yeah, there's just something just worth noting. So if your local Regal might be closing, this is why.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, there's quite a few Regals around here, so we'll see which one closes.
Funny, I got a gift card over there for going to Regals, and I haven't been to a Regal cinema in years.
I just found out the Regal Columbus by my house actually finally started doing assigned seating. So I was just curious because they were the last theater, I think, in the area that wasn't doing assigned seating. So
Ow.
yeah,
Wow.
so might have to start going to it. It is a little bit closer.
Yeah, might have to.
No, or not. Who knows? But
Oh. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, since we covered the theater, the news, let's go to the review.
Yep, so we got 2 reviews, both in the anime world. So,
Our first one is Dragon Ball Z Superhero.
yeah, so Dragon Ball Superhero.
Be honest with you, Ryan, I didn't even realize this was a theater release. I thought this was like a direct streaming through like Crunchyroll, Funimation. Didn't realize it was a theatrical release.
Yes.
And it was #1 last weekend with $20.1 million.
Which is, you might not think with all the big numbers some of the other movies are doing, that for an anime film in North America, that is huge.
Yeah, beat out Idris Elba's Beast, which
Yep.
was a live action film. Because
Yep.
typically, if an anime film's top of the box office, it belongs to the House of Mouse.
Yeah. This time it belongs to the house of Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll, speaking of Crunchyroll, they are the one that distributed it in North America, along with Sony and some other countries. So.
All right, so tell me about this. I'll be honest, I'm a little off the Dragon Ball train right now. I was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z back in the 90s, like a lot of people,
including this guy.
a little bit of GT, and then Super just seems to have been gone in all kinds of directions, and I haven't really been following it too much. So what is up with this? The animation looks cool. It looks like it looks kind of like how the current crop of anime inspired fighting games.
Yep. So they decided to go away from the traditional 2D to do a 3D 2D on this, and I can tell you that the visuals in the 3D 2D actually works, and it's really great. Story wise, when it comes to this, like you mentioned, Dragon Ball is a huge franchise and has been spanning generations. So this actually takes place in the latest iteration, Dragon Ball Super, and it's the second film that takes place after the series. The first one was Dragon Ball Super Broly. This is the sequel to that, and this one focuses on Gohan and Piccolo, and it focuses on taking a fight up against the Red Ribbon Army. And if you're familiar with the Red Ribbon Army, they were an army that Goku fought and defeated in the first series, Dragon Ball, and they came back around with the Android and the Cell Saga in Dragon Ball Z. So now they've come.
They roundabout again for the start of GT, where they de-aged Goku from an adult to a kid.
Yeah.
But GT is not considered canon.
Yeah, most fans.
Multiverse.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, most people don't even think about GT, but
I think GT had some fun elements.
It had some fun elements, but
I'm gonna stand by it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it had some fun elements with Baby and the Super Saiyan 4 and all that. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yep. Well, you named the two best things about that series was the Baby Saga and Super Saiyan 4. But back around to this movie. So basically, it focuses on Gohan and Piccolo taking on the Red Ribbon Army again, because the Red Ribbon Army has tricked a doctor that goes by the name of Dr. Hito to make another slew of androids, and tricks him again, thinking that Bulma and the Capsule Corp are the evil enemies. So basically, it's another another Dragon Ball style film. But what makes this one a little bit different than Broly is that instead of just going hard and heavy in the action, this one actually plays to what makes Dragon Ball great, which is the comedic relief, the rehashing of the material, the fan service, the nostalgia, and the slice of life stuff that happens in Dragon Ball. If you're familiar with any of the comedy from Toriyama, that he does a lot of like cheesy and winks and nods to things that is very conducive to a slice of life. And what makes this one fun is the fact that it focuses on the Gohan Piccolo relationship, as he has a daughter now. If you're familiar with his daughter, who is Pan, and there's this triangle effect where it with all the nostalgic fight scenes and all the stuff that is balanced in there, the strong theme of what is the purpose of power, especially in Gohan's perspective, because if you know Gohan's story, he's known as like the prodigy, the one that can be the strongest if he actually trains. But he's into his studies, into his books, and this kind of puts into the limelight that when Goku and Vegeta's not there, who's next up on line to actually defend the world? And it's Gohan.
Okay, so where's Goku and Vegeta in this?
They're training somewhere.
They're off training when this goes down.
Yeah, they're training somewhere on Beerus's planet. If you're familiar with that, it's familiar there. And there's a little thing that they do to keep them away, which is good because a lot of people always voice that Dragon Ball is known as the Goku and Vegeta show, and finally other characters are getting the limelight in here, and it's great to see Gohan and Piccolo get both stronger moves and stronger stuff, but they highlights them in this film.
Okay. Cool.
So overall, it's a fun film. It does play to a lot of anime cliches. They do have a lot of plot device pulls that they finish it up. But there's fun to be here, and this was a hard one to rate because I'm a diehard fan, so I have to push that aside when I'm rating this, and I have to rate it for the general audience, because can the general audience enjoy this? And I say yes, at a matinee price. So 3.5 out of 5. But if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball anime or anything, you'll definitely enjoy this.
I think the fact that this doesn't have Goku and Vegeta and all the drama that the two of them bring.
Yeah.
Because, got a lot of that right now. Because, if you, I sit on social media from time to time. I sit on Instagram and a couple other things. But I got to tell you, every time I come across an Instagram video about Dragon Ball, it's always Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah. But they're the strongest characters, so it makes sense.
They are, but it's either Goku or it's Goku talking to somebody, or it's Vegeta talking to somebody, or it's some of the stuff from Super with Black and some of these other things that are going on, but it's always those two. Yeah. Very rarely do you see anything really dealing with the huge supporting cast of that franchise. There are so many characters, you kind of lose sight of a few of them. Yeah. Over the years.
But yeah, it does a great job, and I think because of that slice of life, and it ingrains you with the world and the story and the fatherly son and relationship dynamics between the three, you'll definitely have a good time.
Awesome. Cool.
Speaking about a good time, we're going to head into Scuba and The Ry Do Movies and presents another animated tale. One that actually, it came out earlier in this year, January, and I really wanted to see it, and time constraints, it didn't happen, but it dropped on HBO Max. So once it dropped, guess who watched it? This guy and that guy.
Yeah, this one was kind of fun.
Yep.
It's all computer animated.
Yep.
It's got a very interesting stylized element to it. But I think what I like the most is the fact it takes a very classic story and mixes it with modern culture, specifically the gamer and metaverse and all of this. Because to set this up, we're talking, this is some point in our future. Not sure when, not sure where. But it has to deal with, people who get into a massive multiplayer online game.
Known as, they call it You.
They call it You. I get a very strong vibe of Second Life. Looking at this, when Second Life was really big.
Yep.
And then Ready Player One influence as well, where it's like you have all of these people just living their normal life in a digital space,
Yeah.
as opposed to the real space. So we have our main character whose online persona is Belle,
Yep.
and she has come up to be the top singer and performer in You.
Yep.
And there's some tragedy in her life where this is a way for her to start rebuilding her own psyche, which is a great element by itself. I don't want to spoil that, but
Yeah.
the tragedy of her leading into this is really powerful.
Yep.
And then, but while we're in this, and we're going through this, we basically get a different way of telling Beauty and the Beast.
Which I appreciate because, like you said, it molds. Watching this film, it molds in like 3 different forms. Because first you have the tragedy of what happened to Zuzu, which is the human character who's voiced by Kaho Nakiorama, and she goes into this world to try to regain some kind of semblance of happiness, and you come to find out, like you said, she becomes a famed singer, and she finds that life again in singing, and through the classic fairy tale, what happens is that she crosses paths with another character who goes by the name of the Beast. And through their rocky relationship, you see that connection of fragility of her own personal life, and she notices there's something else going on in the Beast's life. And through this virtual world, they form a bond that is both amicable to the virtual world of trying to escape, but also that complements their own little tragic tale at home.
Yes. Yes, I think that's a very nice element. And I like how it mixes the online and offline stories. And you can kind of see as she finds herself as Belle and becomes so popular. And then in real life, she's still she's got some issues, some things she's working out. But
yeah, there's a few issues
with her friends that's really wholesome, and I thought that was a lot of fun watching this.
Yeah, it's ironically grounded through its own imaginative perspective, because you see this melding of the two worlds and you find out how they both complement each other. There's an emotional roller coaster, especially complemented against, like you said, a wonderful animation and an amazing soundtrack.
Yes.
That brings you in.
Solid.
It starts off right in the beginning with the soundtrack, and it clicks you in and lets you know you're in for this journey, but you're not really sure what or why. And what I appreciate about this anime is that it does something that great animes do, is that it doesn't just say, hey, we're just another medium to tell a tale. It's showing you how great the medium is that you can tell alongside great characters and story. Yes. And it's a very heartfelt tale, and the things that it reveals in the end will make this feel even more wholesome with everything that's going on.
Yeah, now I want to take a minute and talk about like the Beauty and the Beast vibe. The fact this is another way of telling Beauty and the Beast, the core Beauty and the Beast. But more specifically, is the inspirations for this that come from Disney's animated Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
There are some very key kind of elements of that classic Disney animation that you see in a slightly different format, but the core of it's still there in this. And I feel that's very clever, and also very much an homage to anime and manga as a whole, because anime and manga took its initial inspirations for storytelling from Disney when Disney films were showed over in Japan as part of during the rebuilding era.
Yeah.
So I think there's a very cool kind of connection and nod that's a little bit broader than the surface. But then again, this story also is very good because it does spin a couple of details about the two characters, but it keeps true to what makes Beauty and the Beast such a great story.
Yeah, it's able to take the formalities of that outline and make its own original avenue within it. and it does a great job. It's just such a riveting story, and it's going to be emotional. And how I like to see this or end it with my own review is like there's a striking purpose in the painful melody of life as you see the outcomes lead to something better.
Yes. So what would you call it?
This is going to probably be in my top 10, my top 5 of the year. It's one of the best films I've seen this year, 4.5 out of 5. It's a award-worthy film. I definitely say check it out. Regardless if you're an anime fan or not, it's a great tale. It's on HBO Max until they decide to pull it. Check it out. If not, find another way to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going with a 4 out of 5 on that as well. It's a very solid film, very enjoyable, very much sneaks up on you.
Yeah, like I said, don't be surprised if this is in my top 5 at the end of the year.
Well, yeah. I'm glad you grabbed your drink, Rye, because we're about to get into something where I know you're going to talk a lot. You know how I know that?
How do you know that?
Because our next thing we're going to talk about is not a film.
Not a film?
No.
Not just one?
No.
How many?
10. Your top 10 of all time. You
top
decide
10.
to rewrite over on your website, ryreviews.com.
Yeah, it's part of my, no pun intended, 10th anniversary, 10 years? Yeah, 10 years. It's been a long day. 10 years of ryreviews.com. So one of the things was updating my favorite films of all time list. There's another list that's going to be coming out, so hopefully I'll get it out before the end of the month.
So before we can get into the individual films, I'm going to read them off, and you're going to tell me one thing about the film that puts it on your top 10.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start number 10, Almost Famous.
Character and music.
Character and music?
Yep.
Okay. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, which you're cheating. That's 3 films, not 1.
I do say it in there that I am cheating. So, but I put this as 1 because when you look at it, it's one story through and through. But it is 3 films, technicality. But one thing that puts it on the list, Journey.
The Journey.
The Journey.
Okay. Perks of Being a Wallflower, number 8.
Reflection of high school.
Okay. All right, and now we have number 7, Snatch.
You've seen this one too.
I have.
So this is if I could describe this film in one word, why it's on my list is erratic storytelling.
My first thought would have been Rube Goldberg.
Yeah. No, it's the erratic storytelling. I love it. It's like the pristine one when it comes to erratic storytelling.
Okay.
The magnum opus of Guy Pearce's films.
All right, number 6, Get Out.
Or exemplified.
Okay. All right, our next one is La La Land, number 5.
Emotional musical.
Okay. Number 4, Your Name.
Heartfelt escape.
The Studio Ghibli is pretty good for those.
Yeah.
Number 3, The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Laughs. This movie, I've watched this 150 times. I laugh every single time, no matter how much I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Hell or High Water.
Modern Western.
Okay. And number 1, Drive.
The Gosling.
Okay.
Just one thing, but there's everything else, but you said one thing, so the Gosling.
Just one thing. One
Gosling.
thing to get somebody to watch this and why. So the thing, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to see, okay, right, what changed?
What changed? There's a lot of films I took off this list.
Oh,
it
really?
looks like there's a lot of films that I had to drop off. So
Okay, I don't have the previous iteration to compare against, but
so some of the films, it was hard. But the thing is, the reason I thought it would be good to revisit this favorite list is because I've seen 10 years worth of films since I actually put that list together. And I've taken films off throughout the years, but I thought it was like at the 10-year mark, it's a mark. It's time to go look at all the films I've watched and what should be removed. So some of the films that are removed up here, which are hard, and you probably like some of them. The Big Lebowski was one that was the hardest to take off because
why is that?
Because it's my favorite dark comedy. And I think it's the dude, but it was really hard because it's one of the best dark comedies. One of my favorite Coen brother films, outside of No Country for Old Men. but that was my other favorite one. And Fargo.
Which film replaced it?
Well, because it was up. Actually, it was up where Snatch was. So Snatch was up further, and I moved it down.
Oh.
And Big Lebowski got kicked off. Another one is Room, the movie that Brie Larson won Best Actress.
Okay.
The one where she is and her son are like taken hostage and stuff. Another one, a Christopher Nolan film was on here that I took off. Not Snatch, but Inception.
Inception was.
It was up there. It was at like number 2, so I took it off.
Okay.
So because there's just a lot of films that's come out that's just surpassed it to me. Those are the 3 that come to mind that I can think of that I've removed. But the ones that weren't removed and moved down, Almost Famous was moved down a couple. Snatch was moved. Tarantino. Django Unchained. I removed it off the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard too. That was hard. But, so many films.
All right. So let me. All right.
You can pick and pry.
No. I was just looking at the fact La La Land actually has a link to the review.
Yeah.
The others have a link to their review.
Yeah. All of them have if you go to it and you see that it has a red, those are links to the reviews. So in the name of the title. So look at Snatch. If you click on Snatch, it goes to the review.
Yeah, I don't see one for 40-Year-Old Virgin.
No, I've never reviewed it because I started reviewing after I watched that.
Oh, so that would be the same with Almost Famous and Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So
you never did reviews for them.
Yeah, so if I do reviews, those would be retro reviews, so I would go back.
Okay.
And I would do those with you because it would be a Scuba and The Ry presents.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the ones that don't have reviews are in black. The other ones you can click on their titles.
Cool.
But yeah,
that wraps up that.
Yeah. So it was a hard list, but the next one in deck, maybe in a couple weeks or a week, is top 10 directors. My top 10 directors.
That should be an interesting list because there's quite a few of them out there.
And I've been thinking, I already have some names. It's going to be how am I going to order them? So, I have some names.
Alrighty, so let's see. Well, I think we're about ready for some odds and ends because we're getting close.
Yep. So there's some interesting odds and ends that I found out there. I kind of switched it out, but I found some even more funnier ones. So
really, like this, McDonald's is testing chicken Big Macs.
Yes, they're testing a chicken Big Mac in the U.S. So instead of the 2 patties, you get 2 chicken patties on there, and it's actually, as noted in this Fox affiliate, it is a prominent sandwich in the UK. So they decided, hey, we're going to test launch it over here in America, and they're going to test launch it, as quoted in this article, in Miami for a limited time.
Okay.
So they want to see and test out the market.
If you're in the Miami area and you check this out and you watch the show, please let us know.
Yep. So they said if it tests well, it'll go nationwide. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Alrighty. Next up, we have Snoop Dogg launches Snoop Loops breakfast cereal.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes. So, everybody likes to have their little cereal and stuff, but, well-renowned entrepreneur and favorite rapper of some people, including me, Snoop Dogg, decides to embark in other business ventures.
Well, yeah, he has a line of wine.
Yep.
He has his own branded cannabis, if you're
Yep.
into that kind of thing.
Yep.
And now he's making a breakfast cereal. So you can have a drink, you can have a smoke, and then have something to eat.
Yeah. So he's going to come out with Snoop Loops. So basically, Fruit Loops with the swag. You can drink, you can have some gin and juice and some Snoop Loops. If you get the pun and reference, you're awesome.
Oh, man. That's a good reference. Alrighty. Yep. And that article was out of the Huffington Post. So it's like, okay.
Huffington Post. Okay.
All right. And our last one, A Journey Through the Human Body at Corpus, Leden.
Yes, this isn't an article, but it is something that I found when I'm always searching odds and ends. I'm always trying to find something unique. And I thought this was a unique place to visit. And it's a museum in Leden, Netherlands, where you can actually journey through the human body, literally, because when you go through this giant building, it's shaped like a human body. So you can tour the human body through this building.
Wow.
So you can
I
go.
thought all the really weird tourist landmarks were in Japan.
Yeah. So you can go from head to toe, and then along the way, you'll have educational experiences at different parts. You can sit down and watch things and get to learn about the body parts that you don't know about.
And you don't have to worry about anybody's trying to kick you out.
Yep.
Nice.
Corpus,
I think
Leden, in Leden, Netherlands.
I don't. That sounds really cool. It sounds like something like if you go to New Zealand, there's a studio there called Weta Workshop.
Yep.
Which might be. I'm pretty sure you would know the studio, considering you're such a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Never heard of it. I'm just joking, people.
But over the pandemic, they were putting together a museum experience.
Oh, okay.
Where they built and designed an entire museum experience to show behind the scenes and showcase what the milestones and innovations they've done in making movie special effects, animatronics, miniatures, robotics, the whole gambit. If you check out Adam Savage's Tested channel, he's got a string of videos where he visited them during the pandemic or right before the pandemic, and was seeing them as they were working on building this stuff out, and some of the design challenges that come with making a actual attraction versus what they go through for making a effect for a film. And the difference in that mindset and some of the methods and stuff, and the fact that it's supposed to be a very hands-on kind of thing where you actually get to do some of the things that are involved in this prop making world that Weta Workshop has innovated so much in. So that's another cool place to go visit if you happen to do some traveling.
Yes, I definitely add that to my wheelhouse as I travel through the body in Holland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing left is like whatever we've been working on.
What have we been working on?
I've been working in the shop. I actually spent the weekend cleaning the shop, really going through stuff, and sitting there. And now I'm working on a project, and actually got replaced the lights, so now it's brighter in there. Got a project that's currently on the bench that I'm filming right now for a video. It's for my miter saw stand.
Should be cool.
A little more mobile and whatnot.
That should be fun.
Yeah. Rehung the TV. I mean, just really went through and cleaned the place up, because the idea is I've settled on I want to make the shop a model shop.
Yep.
That's a lot of my supplies that I've been hoarding is stuff for making miniatures, terrain, model stuff like that. So that's going to be the maker route I'm rolling toward.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing is, like, part of that plan is to move the studio from in here to in there.
Yeah, have a full-fledged studio.
Well, here's the problem. There's not enough room. So I have to seriously look at, okay, I need to downsize some things.
Yeah.
I need to rearrange what I want to keep in there, what I don't want to keep, and, start chucking stuff out, so that the idea is that I can do this in there and have that be my office and my workshop and my studio all wrapped up in one place. So I'm moving forward with that plan.
Yep.
I'm doing a video. I'm recording. I'm making content again.
There you go.
With this first one, I bunch of video. It's probably going to be pretty rough and raw, but
hey, it's always a start,
right?
Yeah, you got to start somewhere with
3
something.
years, we finally got this podcast thing we're figured out. Let's see, figure out some other stuff.
Oh yeah, that sounds like fun.
What about you, Ryan? What you been up to?
Well, over the last couple weeks, it's been diving and doing a lot of different things. So went to the Funny Bone to see King Batch. He's a famous comedian. Got to do a meet and greet with him. So if you've seen my photos on the social medias, you'll see me with him. Capped off the summer season of concerts with Keith Urban. So
I saw the pictures on social media. That looked like it was a lot of fun.
It was such a wonderful concert, and it was a good way to cap off the summer season with all the concerts I went to. Went to 6 this summer, 5 or 6. So yeah, a lot. Did the zoo thing with the family. Took my nephews to the zoo with my cousin and them. So did that. And then also been doing some trivia nights. So had an anime trivia night over the weekend. The Roll With It, you know that place over in by Lynn Haven? You ever heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, so they opened up this restaurant called Roll With It, and it's basically a place where you can go, eat, and game. They have like over 600 board games, so you can eat and play games, but they also have trivia nights. So trivia nights every Tuesday, and then themed ones every other Sunday, and it was anime this last Sunday, so.
Nice.
Finished third.
Congrats.
So, yep. And they do deep cuts when it comes to trivia, so you might know stuff, but they know more. So, but yeah, that's pretty much been the constant outside of work. School will begin next week, so I'll be busy with that. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that, well, we'll head on out. I'm getting the text messages that dinner is ready. So, hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for listening. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please leave us a review through the podcast platform that you're subscribed to. If you're on YouTube, please give us a like. If you're new, hit a subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified when we post more videos. Shout out again. Thank you to Syrinscape for the background music and soundboards. It's really kind of fun listening to listen to that fire ambiance and that musician in the background.
It's always fun.
If you want to support the studio, best thing to do is support it through giving us likes, shares, comments. Feed the algorithm, because the algorithm is hungry. If you'd want to do more, head on over to patreon.com/scuba studio.
Help us out, people.
And you can consider becoming a patron there for some background stuff that's going on. So, and we appreciate any support there. Keeps us going, keeps lights on. With that, we will see you all next week. Bye.
Peace.